Hi there, welcome to these sessions designed to prepare you to become a Google Certified Educator. My name is Brett Petrillo. I am indeed a Google Certified Educator and a Google Certified Trainer. You can find me on Twitter at Brett Petrillo. You can also connect with me at my webpage, brettpetrillo.com. This is indeed session number 1 out of 9, and today I'm going to be introducing Google certifications, including Level 1 and 2 Educator, Trainer, and Innovator. After that, we're going to dive a little bit more deeply into Chrome, specifically with settings, bookmarks, tabs, the Omnibox, the web store, and Chrome profiles. Here you can see all 4 certifications I mentioned earlier. Level 1 and Level 2 Educator. You've got Google Certified Trainer in blue and Certified Innovator in red. Now the differences are Level 1 Educator is can be at a bit more of an introductory level as far as using Google Apps in the classroom to improve engagement, collaboration, and learning. Level 2 takes it a little step further as far as integration of all the apps and all the apps being used together. Now, the certified trainer is an individual that is also a certified educator, levels 1 and 2, but has also been recognized as a leader and a person that can train other educators to become certified educators. And a Google Certified Innovator is someone that could potentially also be a trainer that is taking on a bigger project throughout the course of a year potentially. And they have shown to be, as the badge says, innovative. All right, let's move on. Today and for the next 9 sessions, we're going to be focusing on the Level 1 Certified Educator Certificate. Like I said, this is the first level of training, and afterwards, or after these sessions, you'll have to take the Google Certified Educator Level 1 exam. That exam is hosted by Google. I do not provide the exam. I can't give you the exam. I don't grade the exam. I don't work for Google, but what I am trying to do here is trying to provide you with the information and resources that you need to better your chances of passing this exam. And I'll tell you where you can get that exam in a second. The exam costs $10, and when you pass, you'll be able to use this badge you see on the screen in your signature, in your on your web page, anywhere you want to put it, to proudly display that you are, in fact, a Google Certified Educator. That badge and the testing comes from the Google for Education Training Center, and you can find them at edutrainingcenter.withgoogle.com. I encourage you to take a look through there as well. There's lots of great content, and I'll be referring to it as these sessions go on. Now let's get down to it. Google Chrome, the beginning of everything. If you do not have Google Chrome, I cannot recommend highly enough that you download and install it right now. Chrome is the learning environment for all things Google. All of the apps work much better with Google Chrome, and that makes sense actually, because Google made their apps to work perfectly with their with Chrome, with the browser Chrome. So if you're not using it, I think your life will be a lot more easy, or a lot easier, if you do download that. So if you go to www.google.com/Chrome, take a moment, you can pause the screencast, download Chrome, and then once you have it installed, you can start the screencast back up. All right, great. So now that everybody has Chrome on their laptops and maybe opened up, you should probably open that up now. You'll see in the top right-hand corner of the browser these three dots standing on top of each other. In my opinion, it looks a little bit like a skinny snowman. Well, that actually gives you some more options. So if you go on up there and click that, what will show up is this little menu there, new tab, new window. I want you to scroll all the way down to settings and click on settings. And when you do that, you'll get this little recommendation there, the sign in. This is sign in to get your bookmarks, history, passwords, and other settings on all your devices. You have to sign into Chrome. Now, with which account at this point is it's up to you. You can use your personal Google account, or you can use your school Google account. There's no difference at this point. Later on in the sessions, you might want to be in your school account because there's some added functionality that you get with a Google for Education account. All right, so make sure you sign in, and this little message pops up, and then you'll hit OK, got it. All right, so moving forward, we're going to talk about Chrome options and settings. And for the remainder of this screencast, I'm going to go live right into Chrome to show you some of the cool functionality. All right, I would like to dive a little bit deeper into the Chrome options and settings. And we're going to first start by going over here to the snowman, which gives you more options like we discussed earlier. And you can see here I can create a new tab. I can open a new window in Chrome. I can open a new incognito window, and this is quite handy because when you do this, it allows you to log in with somebody else's account, or for example, a student's account and password information. And then as soon as you exit out of incognito, that information is not saved on your computer at all, so it deletes it when you delete incognito. Underneath incognito, we can view our history, we can see our downloads, we can look at bookmarks that I'll talk about a little bit later on, zooming in and out, printing. Casting is when you want to present or display onto a TV, for example. Find some more tools here, developer tools, edit. Where I really want to get into right now, though, is settings. When I click on settings, you'll see that a new tab opens up, and I have all sorts of things here. Earlier, we logged into Chrome using this little box here. Now you can see that I have the option to disconnect my account. Where I want to go, though, right now is into advanced sync settings. Now, one of the amazing things about Chrome is that it syncs across all of your devices. So if you're using Chrome on your phone or on your tablet, or on your computer like I am, it doesn't matter. You open it up and everything will be there that I have used before. However, it doesn't have to be, and this is what I want to point out now. I can choose what to sync. Now I want to sync everything for myself, so I just wanted to point out that that option is there. Okay. Then on startup, you also have some choices here. Do I want to open a new tab? Do I want to continue where I left off? Or do I want to have certain pages open up or a specific page? Well, for me, it's super handy to have where I left off. Sometimes I just like to close up Chrome and open it back up and have everything there that I was working on. You can also customize the appearance of your Chrome. Here you can get themes. This will take you to the web store. I will talk a lot more about the web store later on, but you can get themes there. I just wanted to show that that's a shortcut to get there. This one is interesting too. I have it unchecked, but this is the show the home button. If I check it, you can see a little house appears up there next to what this is called is the Omnibox, but we'll talk about that later. But this little house shows up. It's a shortcut to get home, to get back to your Google search page. And you can always show the bookmarks bar as well. So if I unclick this, then my bookmarks go away. If I click it, my bookmarks show back up. All right, you can also in Chrome specify which search engine you want to use. I have chosen Google, surprise, surprise. But you can also, here in the Philippines, go with Yahoo Philippines. You can use Bing. Depending on your geographical location, you will be able to have different choices there. And you can manage those search engines by clicking there. So for me, for Google, I use Google whenever, and here's the word Omnibox again, whenever I type something into the Omnibox, it uses Google for me. All right, down here at people, this is not other people. This is different accounts or Google accounts, Gmail accounts that you own for yourself. So most people probably have actually more than one. They might have their school email address, for example, the one that's on your school domain, but you also might have your own personal private Gmail account. You can link each of those up to Google Chrome, and we're going to talk about it a little bit more deeply later, but you can toggle very easily back and forth between those different accounts. And you would go down here to add a person. All right, now very down at the bottom here, show advanced settings. There's some cool stuff in there, so I'm going to click on that. And then I just have to scroll up a little bit. You have some privacy options. All the ones that are checked here are the Chrome defaults. Some cool ones here. It says use a prediction service to help complete your searches. You'll notice that if you've never used Chrome before, you'll notice that when you start typing, it'll predict what you're going to type. Well, that helps you complete your search more quickly, I feel. So I like that default. It also uses it to load pages more quickly. You can have a read through these on your own, but it's important to know that privacy is in your settings. Okay. Google Chrome also has the capability of saving your passwords and form information. Now, for me, sometimes I like this, sometimes I don't. Some of you may use a different external app, but it's important to know that Chrome actually has the ability to do this for you, and you can manage your passwords right there in settings. You can customize the font that you see in Chrome. You can customize the size from very small all the way up to very large. You can customize what kind of fonts, what styles, and you can show how big your page is right there. All right. Going down to the network, these are the proxy settings. You're not going to get anything on the Google Educator exam about proxy settings, but it's nice to know that it's within settings. In Chrome, you can set up how it handles different languages. Now, if I click on that box there, you see that mine is set up for English. I can add a language there as well. And this little button there, this is very handy. If I have it checked, it will offer to translate pages that are not in English for me. So that will show up at the top of the page saying Google Chrome can translate this page for you if you wish, and if you want it to, you just say yes, okay, and it translates it. So that's quite handy. And you can see the benefits to that in a classroom, especially where you might have second language learners. Again, the certificates, you're not going to get to any specific information, or sorry, you're not going to have any specific questions about that, but it would be handy to know that it's in settings. Same with cloud, print. Accessibility is important to know about. There are different accessibility options, and if you click on this add additional accessibility features, it'll open up the web store again, and you'll have lots of different things that you could do to make your Chrome browser more accessible. Could be very handy in the classroom. And then you have down here, let's say you've made all these different changes to your Chrome browser and you're not sure you like any of them, you can always go back and reset your settings right there. All right, so that's it for now about the options and settings. All right, now I want to show you a little bit about the tabs and how they work in Chrome. Now you see up here in the top, I've got 5 of them set up. I've got my mail, my drive, the settings where we just were, and a couple Chrome Web Store tabs. Now, to open one up, just on its own, I would just go over here to the top right-hand corner beside my name, and you can see if I hover over this little box there, it says New Tab. I would just click on that, and a new tab opens up. And there you go, just like hitting Home, the Home button we talked about earlier. Now, there's some really cool things that you can do with these tabs. And you notice, I'm going to demonstrate one first of all that takes care of this crowded space that I have up here. You see I have now 6 tabs open, which actually isn't very many because I've had so many tabs open on my Chrome browser. But it's hard to deal with unless you know this trick. If you 2-finger tap or right-click on one of these tabs, you get some more options. You always get more options when you 2-finger click or right click if you're on a PC. I could also create a new tab. I could reload it. I can duplicate that tab. This is what I want to show you right here. I can pin it. Okay. When I pin the tab, you notice that it shrinks it right down, and there's no X that shows up on it anymore. Over here in my drive, there's an X, and I can close that tab, and there's the words. Where with my mail, when I've pinned it, it's shrunk it right down. Now if I pin my drive, same thing. Okay. Now this is really handy in a couple ways. It can help you save tons of space up there in your tab bar, and that's really helpful, especially with those tabs that you're using all the time. Now I find that my mail, I pin it. My drive, I pin it. Maybe my calendar up there as well, because I'm always in the calendar. So if there's these tabs that you're constantly using, you may as well have them pinned to save some space up there. You can also, if you read below here my other options, you can mute the tab. How many times have you heard music or a video playing and you're not exactly sure where it is, or you have something on one tab playing but you want to hear something on a different tab? Well, you can mute a tab so that there's none of that music or the background coming through that tab at all. I find that really, really handy. You can also close the tab from here, or like I said earlier, just going up to the X within the tab itself. Once a tab is pinned, you can unpin it in here as well. You can close the tab to the right. You can reopen closed tabs, or you can bookmark all the tabs. And I'm going to talk about bookmarks in a second. One other cool feature about Chrome tabs here that I want to point out is if I click on one tab and I press down and then I drag it down, I can actually disconnect it from that window. Now you see that my settings tab is in a new Chrome window from the rest of it. If I want to put it back in there, I just drag it back up and it makes room for it right there. Okay, so these tabs actually, if you click, you can move them around as well and sort them out the way you want to. So they're quite fun to play with. All right, now as promised, I wanted to talk a little bit more, show you a little bit more about bookmarking in Google Chrome. Now, I mentioned earlier, here is the bookmark bar. You see that I've got quite a few pages bookmarked there. We also took a look at in the snowman options over here where you have the option of bookmarks. Now, if you hover over that, it opens up a new window, and you can bookmark a current page, bookmark all open pages, show the bookmark bar, or take the bookmark bar away. You see all of my bookmarks there. You can open them all at the same time, all in different tabs. You can open them all in a new Google Chrome window, or you could open them up in incognito if that's a functionality for you. What I want to show you right now is a little bit about how to create these bookmarks and some cool functionality that is there that you can see. Okay, so let's get started. If I have, for example, let's just go to the Chrome Web Store, for example, and let's say I want to bookmark this bar, or this page rather. So I would go all the way over here to this star, and actually you see that the star is filled in right now. That means it's actually already a bookmark for me. If I unclick it, I can remove it as a bookmark. Okay, so now this star it's hollow because it's not bookmarked. So if I want to bookmark it, all I have to do is click on the star again and name it and say done. And it is now a bookmark, as simple as that. And you can see it that it's on my bar there. All right. So some cool things that I like to show everybody. You can see my bookmark bar here is quite full. I've got these little icons, and I've got the words afterwards, and it takes up space, and the bar is only so big. Well, similar to tabs, you can shrink them down, and it's quite easy. Let's show you here first with the Google Drive bookmark. You'll notice here that it has the Google Drive symbol. I know that symbol means Google Drive. I don't need to have these words here, just taking up space. So again, if I two-finger click, or if you're on a PC, if you right-click, I can go down here to Edit, and the name of it is Google Drive. I can just delete that. I can just take that away and hit Save. And you'll notice that in my bookmark bar, it's taken away the words, but not the little icon. What a space saver. Again, I'll do it with my mail. I can go down there, edit, I can delete the words, and hit Save. So for those bookmarks that you know what they are, I know this symbol there is mail. I know that one there is drive. I can just delete the words. Some of them you might not know, so maybe you could edit the words instead. So for example, this one here, maybe I would just change the words instead of having it as the entire web address. All right, you can also click and organize the bookmarks, similar to tabs. Okay. Oh, and one last thing also. For example, if I showed you that you could just click on this star, well, you can also just click on the address and drag it like this. And you can drag it and then bring it down to the bookmark bar, and it'll add it right there. Now I've got two Chrome Web Store bookmarks, but that's okay. And if I don't want it there, I two-finger click on it and just hit delete, and you can see that happening right there. Now, if I want to manage all of my bookmarks, I'm going to go back over here to Snowmen and Bookmarks, and I'm going to go to my Bookmark Manager. We have not yet taken a look at this. So I'm going to open that up to show you what that's all about. It lists all of your bookmarks here, so you can have tons of them. They don't all have to show up on your bookmark bar, but you, like I just demonstrated, you can reorganize them so the ones that you use most often would appear there. But this is really cool because it is searchable. So you can imagine in your classrooms, if you have a list of tons of bookmarks that you want to have available to you, all on different topics, let's say for all your different classes or your different subjects or your different grade levels, you could have potentially a wide or a long list of bookmarks here, and this helps because it is searchable. All All right, earlier I referred to the Omnibox. I was over here in the snowman there in settings, and I referred to this right there in search. My default is search, and then it says set which search engine is used when searching from the Omnibox. Well, the Omnibox is this right up here where you type in your searches or your addresses. So most of you, I think, know that when you put in an address into this box, you'll be taken right to that URL. I think you also know that you can search right within the Omnibox. Those are just two functions of this cool little space, and I'm going to just illustrate a couple more. Now, if you are, for example, searching for a definition, well, what you would do is type define, and then let's say I'm looking for what a ball is, and it pops up. Now, this is super cool because it gives you the definition that you're looking for, but it also gives you a little soundbite on how to pronounce the word ball. That is very handy in classrooms, especially at the lower levels or for English language learners. All right, that's just one cool thing about the Omnibox up here. What if I typed in something like 5 -8 times 6. It pops up a calculator for me and also gives me the answer right there, -43. So the calculator pops right up. If I type in timer, then you can see that it automatically pops up as a timer. And this is pretty cool in the classroom as well. You can have it with a speaker. You can also expand it to the entire screen. So you can see projecting this could be pretty handy. How about if I'm looking for a conversion from degrees Celsius to Fahrenheit? And it just shows up right there. 0 Celsius is 32 Fahrenheit, and I can manipulate this right there. So I can go 4 and it automatically changes it, or 6 and it automatically changes it, or vice versa. So those are some of the cool features of the Omnibox, but it's not all of them. There are so many cool little things that the Omnibox can do. I recommend doing a little bit of a Google search, and you'll find out all sorts of stuff. Okay, let's explore the Google Web Store a little bit and what it does for you and what you can get there. So first, we got to get there. And up in the top left-hand corner, you see this little apps icon. If you click on that, you will see the Web Store. It's a little shopping bag, Google Chrome symbol on it, and click on that. Okay, you can see here that we have access to apps, games, extensions, and themes. We can also filter just to look at Chrome apps. We could also just filter by website or categories. Now, if I click on categories, you see a wide range here. And if you are with a school, a private education domain, you have this education category right here with academic resources, family, foreign languages, and teachers, for teachers and admins. Okay, going down here, features, you can filter by features if you want it to run offline. Anyway, there you have it. But right away, I want to take a look at the themes. I think they're pretty cool. When you click on themes, there are literally hundreds of them, and you just you filter through, you scroll through to find out what you like. Space exploration, dark black, you name it, it's all here, and very easy to set up. Now I'm going to demonstrate this for you so that you see what it does. So let's say I want this raindrops theme. All I got to do is click on it and very simply add it to Chrome. And it is added. Now immediately you can see that up in my browser window here that it has actually changed. If I X out of here and if I open up a new tab, you can see that that theme has been installed. Now, what if I don't want it? I can always undo and it goes back to regular. You can also control your theme from within your dots over here where you go to your settings and appearance, and you can get themes this way. But if you want to go back to the default, you can click on this reset to default theme. However, I'm already there, so it doesn't register for me. All right, let's go back to the Chrome Web Store. And what I want to take a look at now is extensions. And I want to look at everything by Google, for example. And you can go here, you can see lots of Google Analytics, Google Hangouts, Google Voice. What I recommend is you take a look at these and explore a little bit to see what is actually available to you. There is a wonderful dictionary right here. It's called Google Dictionary. As you can see, I have it already installed, and it appears right here in the top right-hand corner. Now, what this does is, let's say that my students are conducting a research project. Let's say country flags. All right. I get to a web page, and there's a lot of words potentially that my students don't understand. Well, if they have this dictionary installed, all they have to do is highlight it and click, and it gives you the definition. Now, in some words, it will actually give you a verbal soundbite as well. And it's just as simple as highlighting it and clicking the little add-on. And here for unique, you can see that here is the soundbite option. Unique. So you can see the potential for this being a wonderful addition, a wonderful extension to your Google Chrome browser in perhaps a shared computer or even personal computers in your classroom. Okay, so that was a demonstration of one extension, and like I said, there are many extensions here. My advice to you is to explore. However, I do want to note that if you add too many extensions, your browser might be slowed down a little bit. Also, some extensions don't work really well together. Sometimes, for reasons unknown to me, maybe everything's working fine, and then you add another extension, and for some reason, the extensions that you typically use maybe slow down or start to malfunction a little bit. Well, that's just something to note as you are looking through the web store and adding extensions. They are very helpful and very handy, and I recommend you take a look at them. Now, over here, you also have apps. Now, apps are kind of like the PC version of a program. However, they load super quickly. Okay, and there are many different types of apps, and where the apps show up is up here in your app icon. So all of these that you see here are Google Chrome apps, and the benefit to adding these apps to this section here, or adding them from the Google Chrome web store, is that they load super quickly and they download super quickly, and it's instantaneous, not like a program would be where it just takes a long time to boot up. So what I recommend here is, if you are using Google quite often, you should go through the typical Google apps at least and make sure that they're added to your Chrome browser. All right, now last but definitely not least, I want to talk about Google Chrome profiles. And I last talked about this when we went into the snowman over here and down to settings when I talked about people. Now you can see that I have several people in or connected to my Chrome account. I have a couple that are for me, and I have actually a couple student demo accounts so that I can see the student side of things, for example, like Google Classroom. Why would I want several accounts hooked up to my Chrome? Well, it just becomes a lot easier to, for example, work with one account, my school account, and my personal account or my trainer account at the same time. And it's very easy to do so once you have them all connected by adding the person down there. You just go over here to the account that you're logged into, you click on it, and you toggle down to one of the accounts that you want to open up. So for example, if I want to see the student side of things, I click on Student 1. And you can see that it opens up in a brand new Chrome window. Now, if I take a look at mail, for example, in this window, that mail will belong to this fictitious Student 1, not my account, not my school account or anything else. If I open up Drive, it will be a different Drive folder. And they're both open at the same time. You can see here that my file or my account is opened up in the background, and this fictitious Student 1 is opened up in a different window. This becomes very helpful or handy when you're on a Mac and you can just swipe back and forth to different desktops. So you could have one account open on a desktop and a different account open on a different desktop. So these Google Chrome profiles, they become quite helpful. All right, that takes us pretty close to the end of session number 1, but before we go, I would like to review some possible exam questions. And let's get started. What does it mean to pin a tab? Well, if you reflect back on today's session, you will know that when you two-finger click on one of your tabs, there's an option that says Pin Tab. And what that does is it shrinks it down in your tab bar and takes away the little X that you can use to exit out. And it will be there in your tab bar. It saves a lot of real estate. What is incognito browsing and when is it useful? Incognito browsing is when you open up a Chrome browser, you select in your options or in your snowman to go incognito. And what that does is any passwords or login information that you enter during incognito mode will be automatically erased when you close that incognito window. This can be very useful, for example, if you have students logging in on your computer or a school computer and you don't necessarily want that information to be saved. All you have to do is exit out of that incognito window and everything is deleted off that computer. Now, some school domains have deactivated this feature, so you might want to check whether or not it's available to you. Is there an education category in the Chrome Web Store? There is indeed, and if you're logged into your education account, you'll be able to go to the web store, take a look at the categories, and education is definitely there, and I recommend that you explore that on your own. What are 2 places you can go to find your installed Chrome apps? Well, if you remember, in the top left-hand corner of your Chrome browser, there is a little icon that has the word apps next to it. Now, if you click on that, it'll open up in a tab and it'll list or show all of the apps that you have currently installed into Chrome. You can also go into the snowman and take a look at all of the apps or manage the apps that you have had installed. How do you add multiple Chrome users? Now again, if you go up into the snowmen, you can go into settings and you'll see one of the headings is people. Underneath people, the list of people that you have there's a button that says add, and you can add multiple users into your Chrome browser from there. What options are available for setting startup pages? Well, you can have Google open a specific page on startup. You can also have Chrome open up a set of pages on startup, or you can have Chrome open up where you left off so that all tabs that were previously open will open back up, and that is personally my favorite. How do you change the default search engine? Now, once again, everything's up in the snowman. Under settings, you can scroll down in settings and set that default search engine. And if you want to add a search engine that is not listed, you can also add it from there as well. So in settings, which is underneath the snowman. All right, that wraps up session number 1, preparing to become a Google Certified Educator. Please join us for session number 2, which will focus on Google Classroom and Gmail. Thank you very much. And again, my name is Brett Petrillo. Take care.